overseas, music, decent work. Harry becomes a pitiful loser in America as a result of William's earthshot hit. Hello and welcome back to Kate Middleton and the Queen News Channel. Last week, while Harry and Meghan were attending the Invictus Games, they were spotted posing for pictures with some NATO officials. I, as well as many of you, have pointed out that Harry and Meghan have no business doing that Meghan and Harry are irrelevant, and they only had their photos taken because the officials came to see the veterans compete in the game that Harry helped to create. This week, however, I've a different after telling reporters that it was great to be back in the United States as he got into the Hudson at an oyster project. UN Chief Antonio Guterres and Prince William seemed delighted to be there as they were touring the 93-member global organization where world leaders had gathered for their annual summit. A source in the United States is claiming that Prince William is the statesman he has always wanted to be. William visited the United States only a few days after Harry's Invictus Games concluded in Dusseldorf, and this source claims that the two weren't even interested in seeing each other because Harry had already done too much damage. Of course, this visit isn't good for Meghan and Harry because they'll always compare themselves to Catherine and William in this trip to New York City. I am a huge fan of the Williams Earthshot Prize because it emphasizes using pragmatic solutions to benefit communities. I believe that everyone in the world can agree that improving water quality is important, regardless of where we live, so using the shells is very pragmatic. Last year, they even sponsored a group of girls in India who were little geniuses who discovered how to use solar power to do ironing. As a result, they were able to provide employment and they were using solar power. Travel list. Well, this business consumes a lot of money from sponsors, but it doesn't really give any results. As I reported before, Batter Up is also not happy with Harry. Apparently the leaders of the organization want to kick him out because he's just completely ineffective and doesn't do anything. Clearly flying around the world in private jets and driving those expensive gas-guzzling SUVs makes these leaders realize that Harry is a complete hypocrite and shouldn't be representing their companies or organizations. And insiders are asking a pretty good question: why should William bother seeing Harry anyway? I mean, right now Harry is flying high after Invictus, thinking it was such a success. Of course, Meghan managed to turn the whole thing, which is a good and serious cause, into her personal fashion show. She was so out of sync with her surroundings, out of touch as usual, and unfortunately it seems like Harry is past the point of therapy, whereas William and Catherine are doing their very best to be responsible modern royals. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan have just finished a weeks-long mega PR blitz by using present and past servicemen and women to make themselves look a lot better than they really are, to act like they really are humanitarians when in fact they're just a couple of grifters. So on a related topic, Meghan and Harry's PR people are always trying to find ways to bring down the royal family, and this time they came up with a piece of new pathetic news. Do you know what they're saying? They're claiming that the King and Prince William are upset because all their attempts to discredit Meghan and Harry have failed, as we can see by the success of Invictus 2023. What on earth are they talking about? I mean, how are we even supposed to be able to gauge whether or not Invictus was a success? There hasn't been any coverage of what the wounded veterans were doing. We didn't hear any reports or results or see any photos. So why is that? Well, that's because everything was about Meghan. About her outfits, who designed them, how much each one cost, what jewelry she was wearing, the story of her missing engagement ring, again her opening speech that was so incredibly stupid, and all about her and the level of her hypocrisy promoting family connections, what she ate in the restaurant on Harry's birthday, and also how much their hotel room cost per night. And it sounds like those two sleazeballs really did demand appearance fees. I mean, how low can they go? The veterans deserve so much better. They wouldn't have even shown up if there were no profit for them, or if they couldn't have made themselves look better by hurting the people involved. There was no coverage though, because apparently they were booed as expected. It all ran into hundreds of thousands of dollars. Using a charity event for PR for self-promotion is absolutely disgusting. They should have highlighted the veterans competing and interacting. Nobody cares about watching Meghan chase Harry to the next camera shot. I think it is high time for Invictus to replace Harry. I mean, after all, he did use an American-created idea for his own personal gain, and that is wrong. And what was that weird story about the milkshakes anyway? I mean, who gives milkshakes to kids for breakfast? That is such a pitiful excuse, and it only makes Meghan look even worse than her stupid clothes do. I can only imagine the stomachache that my grandbabies would get if I tried to give them milkshakes for breakfast. I also love to hear more Details about how exactly Charles and William have tried to discredit Meghan and Harry. The last time I checked, King Charles and Prince William do not need to help Meghan and Harry discredit themselves. They do a fine job all on their own. They are a complete distraction from Invictus, and it was started with the best of intentions, but now it has turned into a sideshow, and it looks to me like William is the one responsible for keeping Invictus afloat, while Harry just runs around trying to get attention. How much did Harry and Meghan cost that charity? Think about the flights, the speaking fees, Harry's birthday dinner, their hotel room, new outfits for Meghan, and apparently that hotel room cost $2,000 a night. In my opinion, William could raise more money at a single polo match in the afternoon than Meghan and Harry's charity could in a whole year, and they keep the majority of that money to cover costs. Meghan and Harry will undoubtedly be annoyed this week since William is in New York and is, as he should be, receiving some favorable press. William and Charles are pouting because Harry is going to be throwing little fidgets and Meghan is going to be planning visits to parking lots or, I dunno, burger joints, maybe so the papas can come and take a picture of her. In my opinion, no. As for the success of Invictus, I refer to the monarch and the Prince of Wales pushing themselves ahead of veterans and press headlines while they are engaged in actual essential work. I have heard Meghan referred to as the Invictus First Lady. I almost passed out. People also don't seem to realize that William and Catherine, through the Royal Foundation, helped Harry establish Invictus and were the ones who let Harry to continue receiving patronage when William stepped away. They must be regretting that choice, I'm sure. William also gave up the money he received as compensation for suing the MSN Corporation. Did Harry even express gratitude? Did he bring it up? Obviously not. Harry never once mentions how the royals assisted in organizing Invictus for him. Seriously, a lot of people put a lot of effort into making these games, and now all Meghan and Harry do is show there and demand that someone cover all of their expenses.